Ladies and gentlemen, it's Frankie Summers coming at you with my entry for the CPW Salute to the Heroes Q&A session. First off, I have to give a massive shout out to our unsung heroes at the NHS who are working night and day to help heal the sick of our nation as this horrible virus has taken over. Now, I also have to give a shout out to the essential workers, those who have to go into work regardless, like those who work in local government, and to those unsung, selfless volunteers who sign up to help with the NHS and to help those with their own actions getting shopping for the needy and the vulnerable and those who just can't help themselves at this time. I salute all of you. I thank you for your service. Now, let's get down to business. I've been given 7 questions from the CPW Galaxy. I'm going to read them out for you now. So, this first question comes from Carl Warren. Hello there, Carl. And it says, do you think you can beat Tom B in your Axeman tournament match? Ooh, well, let's see. I'm not going to come out there with a negative attitude and say, oh, no, he's going to absolutely destroy me. No, I can't think like that. You can obviously make comparisons between my match with Imperial Dragon and this one. There's a massive difference, though. I have a lot more experience. It's been a year. I've been training very hard. I have more moves, more strategies, and there's a lot less fear. I just have a lot more self-confidence and faith in my own ability out there. I took a kicking from 4 people at the same time at the Christmas Bash. I know that Tommy did manage to throw off about 8 people at the same time at the Elimination Rumble. He's a very dangerous competitor. He's very accomplished, however, and he's going to be the toughest test of my career so far. So I think I'm just come up with a strategy and I can hold my own out there. Even if I take an absolute pasting, if I can just hold with it, there's going to be a way I can try and get through this. And our next question comes from Dr. Gage. Right, Gage, and asks me, who would be your dream CPW opponent and what sort of match would it be? There are 3 opponents who immediately come to mind. The first one, of course, would be Kevin Isaac. That's the one that I think people would love to see happen. People have begged me, knock him out, Frankie, knock him out if ever we've come face to face. It's happened a few times. He's slapped me about a bit, but right now I don't think I'm ready for him because I feel that he would tie me up in knots if I went in there with him. So I'm going to have to work on what I'm doing, come up with a strategy, and then, when I'm ready, more physically able, and stronger and fitter and faster, I'll be able to go toe-to-toe with him. I'm going to surprise you, Kev, you'll see. Also, there's the Iron Serb, who's been on my case ever since I started ring announcing. Very first show I ever announced on the Fest 3, he was breathing down my neck and he hasn't stopped ever since. Okay, he's not behind me right now, it's alright. So, yeah, I reckon that I'd be ready for him anytime. If it came down to it, throw us in at Dylan's Brewery, falls count anywhere. I'm willing to get a little bit more dangerous, even if my body wouldn't forgive me for weeks afterwards. And of course, well, I have to mention 2 people here. The main dream opponent would be Dan Evans. I have a lot of respect for him. But, with him and Kevin, it'd just be a straight-up wrestling match. And I think we could throw Scott Oberman in here as well. Because the MMS, when you think of CPW villains, they're the ones you think of. They're the benchmark that any good guy to try and get over. So again, it'd have to be when I'm ready for them and when I'm worthy of facing them. So once the gyms come back open, once we can train again, I'm going to put in 110%, possibly even 120% if it needs to be that way. Go harder and faster than I've ever gone before, and make sure that I have enough gusto and power to get through this challenge. So, when it comes down to when CPW management says, yes, we're willing to put you in there with them, one-on-one with any of those 4, I'm up for it. The next question is from Sarah Ingalls, and it reads, what would your CPW Survivor Series team be and why? To be honest, Sarah, I don't even have to think about that one. It would be the other members of Team Madness, Leighton Sims, Bashby and Dr. Gage. myself, there we are, that's 4 people. So, unless we're going to go for a 5-man team, I'd have to bring in Big Eli Connors. All of us have teamed up together before. I've got team contingency. We all work together, we're all great friends, and we just have a synergy that you should have within a faction. We have a very unorthodox style, and to be honest, I don't think that any team that we could face would see it coming, really. I mean, sure, you can try and pick us off one by one, but together, we're more or less invincible, and don't you forget it. And the next question is from Alan English. Thank you very much for this one. This one's very important. He asks, are tickets okay for the next time? I assume you mean for Superstars Project 4 Part 2. Yes, those tickets are still valid if you still have them. When the lockdowns released and we're able to put on shows again, as soon as we can, we'll put the new date for the Superstars show, and we'll give you the information. And if you still have your tickets, come along on the date, they will be honoured. So I hope that answers your question. This is for all of you. So moving on to our next question, which is a 2-parter sent in by Brian Davies. Thank you for this one, Brian. And it says here, at first part, I'm thinking of becoming a wrestling announcer. What are the key things to being a good announcer? Let's see. I'm surprised you asked me this one, Brian. See, I don't know what key things I could really say. The only thing, advice I could give, really, is to make sure that you're confident out there. Don't let a crowd intimidate you. Some people will try and throw you off your game. You've just got to try and get through it. If you have a likeable persona, or try and put yourself across with them when you open up shows, and try and get them infused, get the old pre-show warm-up, and make sure they're all primed and ready for that first match, and first match after the break, and the ending, to send them off with a happy feeling, their good projection, enthusiasm. Sometimes it doesn't matter exactly what you say, but how you say it. There are times when, if you say something with enough gusto, doesn't matter how menial it is, you'll have them in the palm of your hand. Also, I'd say, just as a bit of extra, get to know the wrestlers that you're going to be announcing. If ever we have anybody new, I always make sure I have a few minutes with them to say hello, shake their hand, and sit down and have a couple of minutes chat with them. Where are you from? Do you have any nicknames? And so on. And just to give that bit of extra spice, just to make the wrestlers feel special, and let the crowd know that they're somebody. They're not just another face that they've never seen coming through that door. That's all I can say with that one, really. So I'll move on to your second part of your question. Let's see. And it says here, there are 2 announcers in CPW, Caitlin James and yourself. How do you rate Caitlin, and has she helped you when you first started? Okay, so with this one, I do rate Caitlin very highly. She's a very endearing person. I think that the CPW Galaxy have taken to her. She's been doing it for a long time. She has given me a lot of advice. She's given me tips. She convinced me to go out and get my own clipboard for the match card on them for me to keep my notes on. So that's been very helpful. And Dominic DeWinter gave me a lot of advice as well. He's given me vocal care tips, because I don't know vocal train as much as I should. But yeah, it's both of them have helped me a lot, and hopefully I've given them a bit of advice as well. It helps if you can learn off each other. Don't really know where I'm going with this one, but yeah, Caitlin James is great, and she's been a great help to me throughout my time as a CPW announcer. Let's see, and the next question moving on to is, it's from one of my biggest fans. It's from Emma Shaw. Hi, Emma, Corey, and Chloe. Hope you're all doing well in this trying time. And she asks, I think you're a great announcer. What's been your fave match to announce in CPW so far? Now we're cooking. Okay, so there's three, and I'm gonna go down them in order. Number three was Cara Noir versus Tombi, mainly because Cara Noir is one of my heroes in wrestling, and he was one that most of the CPW roster begged to get on the show for so long, including myself. I was practically hammering on Katie Smith's office door on my knees to try and get Cara Noir onto a show. By the looks of it, it seems to have worked, and yeah, just to finally get to say, he is the Black Swan, Cara Noir! And have him come out and do the full entrance in front of a CPW audience, it was a dream come true. It really was. Oh goodness, get a bit gushy here. The second one was Rene Dupree against Will Starr at History 6. Basically because that was one of the most high stakes matches that we've ever had in CPW. And we've got a great star in Rene Dupree, and we've got our own homegrown boy in Will Starr, and these two were going to meet a clash of titans, a clash of generations, and I really added to the announcements this time. I went above and beyond with what I said. A lot of it was ad-libbed. I hadn't planned what I was going to say before, and you can tell with my delivery. Hopefully you'll be able to see that on the recording. I'm extremely proud of that one. And my favourite match to announce, it was definitely the lineal elimination Steel Cage Prison Challenge between Mr. Richards and Will Starr for the unified title. The reason I put that one at the top is, yeah, again, this was the most high-stakes match that CPW's ever had. You've got the King against the Prince, or the Duke, or however you'd want to, whatever role side you want to assign to the chosen one, really. Yeah, so again, it's generation versus generation, and they were going at each other in the highest stakes imaginable. You've got the cage, you've got the belts, and two of the most popular stars in the company. I had to announce it with all the gusto and grandiose possible. That speech I gave at the beginning of the match before the competitors came out, it's one that I'm extremely proud of still, and hopefully the fans will enjoy it and it pervade just how significant this match was. So, once again, thank you, Am. And lastly, we have question number 7, and there's a blast from the past. It's from Danny O'Neill, of all people. You're right, Danny. And it says here, great to see how far you've come in your time with CPW. What's next for Frankie Summers? What are your goals for this 2020 and the next season CPW? I'm glad you asked, Danny. Short term, obviously, I've got my match with Alex Connors. My chance to become two-time CPW Galaxy champion. And when I finally get that belt back and it's over my shoulder, it was mentioned before from Lucia Lee, would she get her rematch? And when it happens, Lucia, yes, I'll honour your rematch as well. I've got somebody I can call on to help me out, who can deal with you. And if you want to bring CJ or whoever else along, I'll gladly take them on. So yeah, I'm more than up for that. It's going to be great. In terms of long term, I'm just going to have to perfect my craft and work out a bit more, try and get in much better shape, fitter, tougher, stronger, so I can deal with more dangerous opponents more efficiently, and maybe have a crack at some of those other championships down the line. I've got a place in the Academy League rankings, so who knows, Dingo, might be coming for you next. Bring Dongo along as well, doesn't matter, I'll take you both on. Then who knows where it'll go from there. I'm just going to go with the flow for now and see who I get put against, and hopefully it'll coincide with some of the opponents I want to face somewhere down the line. So I hope that's answered your question there.